Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're back again. And before we jump into anything, I just wanted to say don't forget to follow us on all social media and wherever you find your podcasts and YouTube at Fresh Set Podcast. Like, follow, and share. Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please at least go and look. You can see that we have some merch.
There's some other
I don't know
stuff
why
in
I'm
the
like
back too, but
voguing.
we can post the stuff on the back. But
Yeah, we'll post some stuff. We finally got our hands on some merch. A friend of ours over at Jaded Raisins, and I'll post and tag her in this as well. Got us some merch, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
I have what are these wheels on the side
Wheels?
of my? Yeah, I was like, what are these things called? But yeah, so it's been an off week, no race this week, but there's still a lot to talk about. A lot happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the news after. Did we talk about it last week? I don't even think we did. Or did we mention it? I don't even remember. All the news after the race. Well, we did talk about Ted Kravitz.
Yeah.
And him pissing off Horner.
Horner.
But there was always a speculation. Well, not the speculation. There was going to be a big meeting in Milton Keynes, which is the Red Bull headquarters, on what, if anything, they were doing, either to driver swap or improve their drivers or whatever, fix this solution where they're having two cars finishing in the points.
Well, they also have the two cars finishing at opposite ends of the grid.
So okay, let's get this out of the way first, okay? Because this has been really bothering me this week.
Okay.
Now it's always been said by Christian and by Helmet that the Red Bulls, the RB, and we've talked about this before too. The RB is their junior program. It's where we develop our drivers so they can maybe move up into the parent team. You never have in a professional sport. You don't have your farm team playing in the same league.
Yeah.
And it's never really bothered me as much until right now. It really, I mean, I you can kind of put it out of your mind, but then when you see just we can get it out of the way here. Well, and we're going to talk about it, but Liam has been demoted into the RB and Yuki has been promoted into the Red Bull. I don't know, whatever you can see is a demotion or promotion right now, but
We'll see.
you can just swap so willy-nilly. There's because if they only had the one car, if it was just a Red Bull, Liam would likely just be out of F1.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have felt so comfortable putting a rookie in that car alongside Max right away.
Yeah, and I mean that's I think the biggest piece I think from this is the whole point of this farm team that they've gotten away with. And it's not a farm team, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it a farm team. The Red Bull seat is for building up your driver. So they go there, they show what they have. It's their intro to Formula One. And then they move up to the Red Bull seat. So going back to last year when it was even announced that, Perez wasn't staying and Yuki wasn't selected, who has been in Formula One for 4 or 5 years now. Why didn't you select the driver who over the years has increasingly gotten better? He should have been given the chance first. Plain and simple. If that's how we're going to work our farm.
And this is what's going to this is what pisses me off even more is that all the talk throughout all the years was that Yuki's not ready. He's not mature enough. He still has attitude things he's got to work on. He's got to get better as a driver. He's done all those things. We saw he was a lot worse, and he's been a lot better over the last 2-ish years or so.
Yeah.
He's proven that he can do it, but that was always a knock on him. And now that he's ready to be promoted, or they have to make some kind of a decision. Now it's he's changed his management. Well, one race, 2 races, he's changed his management. It hasn't made much of a difference.
Yeah,
and he's still the same as he was last year.
Yeah.
So to say that now to just to backpedal and backpedal and backpedal,
Yeah.
saying that you made a mistake, but it should have been it should have always been Yuki.
It should
Should
have
have
always been
always
Yuki.
been Yuki.
Sounds like a romance rom-com.
Should
It
have
should have
always
always been
should
Yuki.
have.
It was always you.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just we saw this coming. Did we see it coming this early? No. Did we see Liam's standings where they are now? Did we see them being that low? No. Uh, and there's kind of this back and forth of, is it the car? Is it the driver? And I mean, I kind of want to pose that question to you. Do you think it's the car? Or do you think it's the driver?
I think it's a combination of both. I think you can kind of see, and I know that's an easy answer out,
Yeah.
but but I have justifications for it. I
Yeah.
mean, you have a car that's difficult to drive. It's difficult even for Max to drive. You can see he's not pulling the right everything that he needs out of this car.
Hmm.
He's just doing a phenomenal. He's just a top notch driver. He is the best driver on the grid.
Yeah.
We can make an argument for Lando, but I think raw talent wise, it's Max is
Yeah.
probably the best driver on the grid. But he's also struggling with a car that's just
Yeah.
not giving him the performance that he needs, and it's a little finicky, as they've been saying. And Toto's probably been telling. He's probably sending Christian memes. Fix your fucking car, for the last like
Yeah.
half a year. But I think that's it's partly that. But even if you are in the hardest car to drive, you shouldn't be finishing 20th.
No.
You should be putting in a lap time that can at least get you out of Q3.
Yeah.
Q1. We don't even have qualifying this week, and
Yeah.
I'm still doing
You're
it.
already messing up. Yeah. And I agree with that. I just think it's very interesting that this go round with Liam, specifically with Liam, we've seen Alex Albon in that car. We've seen Pierre Gasly, Daniel Kvyat. We've seen Perez. And the blame was always on the driver.
Yep.
And for some reason now with Liam, it's like, oh, it's the car. Yes, Max is struggling with it, but this is also not the first time that Max has said the car is hard to drive. There's
Yeah.
been years that he's won the championship and he said the car is hard to drive.
Yeah, the only one he never said it to was 2 years ago, where he
Right.
won everything.
Yeah, and he was like, "This was fun, nice little Sunday drive." So it is interesting that there is, like you said, this backpedaling of when Perez was having these issues. It was Perez, but I mean, without them saying it, them removing Liam from the car is kind of saying it's the driver. So
Can we get a Helmut Marko quote where he says, "I was wrong"? We'd never get that. All he says is,
No.
Liam's like a shaken boxer, and it was a mistake. In
Yeah.
that sense, it was a mistake. Well, so you're putting all the blame on him for being nervous, and I get what it's like.
Yeah.
Not in this situation, obviously, but especially when the whole world's watching you, you make a
Yeah.
mistake, you get the yips, was all sports players talk about, right?
Yeah.
You make a mistake, and then it just compounds, and you
Yeah.
feel all that extra pressure, and then you make even more mistakes, and it just
Yeah.
compounds over and over. He wasn't ready.
No.
He's still a rookie driver, whether I
Yeah.
agree with that or not.
Yeah.
He needs time to develop.
Yeah. And I think we talked about it, but Jacques Villeneuve, who he's with Sky Sports, I think, as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Sky
the special
Sports.
correspondent.
He
Yep.
came out and made a statement and said, Lawson is paying his own price. You have to bear in mind that he came into Formula One very arrogant. And does that mean you need to lose your job? No. But he came in with an attitude.
He came in last year with an attitude.
Yeah,
He was flipping off people. It
Yeah.
didn't matter if it was Alonso. The two people he had the most problems with were two of the most the ones with the most experience and a two-time champion.
Yeah.
It
didn't. He had a rough entrance, but I think part of that is on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen so many things. He's the nicest guy. You can be the nicest guy, but you
I don't see
haven't. But you haven't shown much of that because a lot that we have seen from you is kind of you being an ass.
even up to the first race, talking about how much better he is than Yuki.
Yeah, which is also bizarre statement to make when
Well,
Yuki's been in Formula One 4 years before you were.
I assume it's more so in response to everybody thinking that they should have picked Yuki over
Yeah,
Lawson. He's getting his, he's getting his back up against the wall a little bit. He's
yeah,
he's he's trying to defend himself a bit. Did it in a very arrogant way.
yeah,
Again,
yeah,
he just wasn't ready. He
yeah.
wasn't ready. He should never have been put in this position. I feel
No.
bad that he only got the 2 races,
Yeah,
even though I don't think he should have been there in the first place. I mean, you got
yeah,
to give him at least half a dozen, 6, 7,
yeah,
8 races.
yeah,
Allow him to
and
work through it.
yeah, and I mean the the statement from Red Bull and Christian Horner and what have you. It was a business decision. It was, duty of care for who? It was duty of
Absolutely
care.
not.
That wasn't
Absolutely
duty of
not.
care at all.
The duty of care was they told somebody at their board of directors told them, change them or you're all fucking fired.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of it too is, like you said, give him 6 races. Red
Get him a
Bull,
sports psychologist.
yeah,
You
Red
know what? It was
Bull,
something.
yeah. But Red Bull coming off of losing the drivers or losing the constructors last year, kind of a blow to them. I don't think they have 6 races to lose because McLaren is just so good. So if they do want to fight for the constructors, they don't have 6 races. And I understand that. But all of that should have been factored in before we
But
chose Liam.
you're creating that, that duty of care. You're putting
Yeah.
him in a position where you are now beholden to him, trying to improve him,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
other than that, then get rid of him,
Yeah. And
right?
all the things you mentioned it already, but all the things that they said that Yuki had to work on, Liam didn't. Liam just was
It,
here.
it, it
Like,
was seen as a quality of
yeah.
his to
Yeah.
be closer to the Max attitude. Although
Yeah.
I Max can do. I mean, I know Max was probably like that at 18, 19. He was a little
Yeah.
bit, not to
Yeah.
the extent I don't think, but I mean, he backed it up.
That's the thing. If you can back it up,
Yeah,
sure. If you can be an ass and back it up, sure.
yeah,
But I know we talked a lot last year about Perez and should he be driving and what have you. One thing that I do want to remind everybody about and kind of remind ourselves and give Perez like his flowers where they're due is I think we quickly forgot, and I'm not saying he deserved to stay in the seat or anything like that, but I think we very quickly forgot that Perez did finish in P2 and P3, or the drivers championship, in second and in third in 2022 and 2023.
yeah,
So it's not like he's a horrible driver. He was putting up those times and the changes to the car weren't working. And yeah, okay, maybe it was time for a new driver in the seat. But I think we just really quickly forgot, as all F1 fans kind of
yeah.
quickly forgot how helpful Perez was. He was a great team player, driving a car, continuing to drive a car on the track when the car's very damaged, holding up Lewis. Like, these are all things but that Perez had to go through with other teams to build up to become the driver he was at Red Bull.
Well, see, I think their shortcoming is exactly what Christian was giving shit to Zach Brown for last year. It
Yeah.
almost seems like they're looking for 2 number ones.
Yeah.
Because when you have that gap to Max, which you're most likely going to have,
Yeah.
how far like that, you're saying that he's got to perform better, closer to Max, closer to Max. Well, what are you looking for? Are you
Yeah.
looking for 2 number ones, or are you
Yeah.
looking for somebody who can help you get into that constructors
Yeah.
and be that second seat, that designated second seat, which he did,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
did without complaint.
Yeah. I mean, you told him to do something and he did it. And I think it really from Perez got into that seat, he did it.
Yep.
He was able to perform in the car. Yeah, it was a different car, let's say. But yeah, I mean, I was looking at everything, all the numbers again. And I was like, yeah, Perez he had a bad year and a half because his decline, I guess, started at the end of 2023.
Yes.
Those last, but he still finished third.
He still finished third.
In the
He
constructor.
he put up a lot of points in that first half. A couple
Yeah,
race wins.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but now we go into, okay, there's the Yuki and the Liam, whatever. We put them aside. If we focus on Red Bull, this is probably worst case scenario for them right now. This is embarrassing for
Yep.
them as an organization.
They
Their big bad mojo for Red Bull is gone.
they can't
Really.
start a year without controversy, it
No,
seems.
no, at all. Uh, you don't, again, like you don't look big and bad. You kind of just look like assholes. Like you're savage, which Red Bull has always been savage. But I mean, what we kind of posted on our Instagram, what happens if Yuki can't bring the car closer to Max?
Does Max get switched with Liam?
Yeah, maybe.
They just
Maybe.
have, yeah, yeah. Does
Yeah.
he just start driving a racing bulls?
Yeah. But what happens if Yuki can't get close to Max? What happens if, whether it's Liam or Hajar, start outperforming Yuki?
Oh,
There's
I
all
think
these
I think
like,
Hadjar's already shot himself in the foot with helmet.
yeah,
I don't know that as long as
he's
helmet's a
just,
part of this team,
yeah,
Hadjar's he's gonna take that Yuki path, and he's going to be a seasoned vet
yeah.
before he gets a shot.
He's just like, I just need to get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But just regardless, like if either of them are, or Liam, if Liam's attitude continues, is this going to light a fire or dim his flame? Like what's going to happen now with the
Well, it's
racing
interesting.
bulls?
We've already heard from Helmet that Yuki's got the seat for the rest of the season, so
Hmm.
there are not going to be any. Take that for whatever the hell you thought you want.
Yeah.
We thought
Yeah.
it was guaranteed that Lawson was going to be there all year.
It was also
So
guaranteed that Perez was had a contract for this year
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
So, I mean, take it for what for absolutely nothing. But he's apparently got that seat. He, I don't know. I don't think they're going to take the chance in looking so foolish as to make any more swaps and any more
No.
um, hasty decisions.
No.
We'll call it. I think they're going to ride it out, and then if this just falls flat on on its face, I think they're going to have heads that are going to roll. I mean, once
It's
Newey's gone, we've had engineers leave Red Bull, very key people that have left Red Bull. It could be that Max wants an out. You never
yeah.
know if it goes this way, because it just seems if he was not happy with the management last year, he's sure as hell not going to be happy with the management this year.
Yeah.
Or
And we've seen a little bit, not directly from Max, it's kind of hearsay, but we've seen that he is not happy about all this.
no,
Like he is consistently having to switch teammates and you kind of think like, am I the problem? Am I the villain? But he's constantly having to switch up. He has even liked posts, whether it's him actually doing it or his team, whatever, liked posts on social media about this whole scenario. And realistically, I wouldn't be happy
no.
if you're just constantly having to deal with something, which it doesn't. It's an individual sport, but it's a team sport, so it does impact him. There
Sure.
is an impact on Max with this whole thing. So,
Well, I'm
yeah,
sure he's sick already of the questions. He's a no bullshit, no drama kind of guy, unless he's creating it on track,
yeah,
which he doesn't think he did anything wrong. But
yeah,
when it comes to the everyday, the business side, the rumors or the politics of the sport, he just wants to get a car that can drive and drive.
and he wants someone that's going to help him win the constructors as well. Because I mean, just as much as he wants to win the drivers, it's good for the team. It's good for him to win the constructors as
Oh, of
well.
course.
I Do you think Yuki is gonna do better than getting out of
I don't.
Q1?
I don't see how you could do worse.
Yeah.
I know. I
60
think
grid place penalty.
I think he will. I think he's not going to be. I think he's going to struggle a little bit more, um, than he would have in that rate than in that Racing Bulls.
Hmm.
Because we got to remember a lot of the components of the Racing Bulls is last year's RB20.
Hmm.
Um, which is maybe not perfect to drive, but it was better at
Yeah.
certain points of the season.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he's still going to struggle a little bit just getting used to it. I think he's going to struggle a little bit because he's going to be compared to Max.
Hmm.
He was in a Racing Bulls. He's going for seventh and eighth. He looks like a phenomenal driver. He's going to be in a Red Bull. Once you see a 2/10 difference between him and Max, there's going to be more questions. It's
Yeah.
just going to be the nature of the team, the nature of your teammate, and then just how closely of a lens that's going to be. So is it going to look like a struggle? Yes. Even if he
Yeah.
puts himself into a fifth or a sixth or a seventh or an eighth, it's going to look like he's struggling, even though that's what he was doing beforehand.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny because I can already hear the headlines of like, oh, he's already doing better than Liam. And it's kind of going to be one of those scenarios of like, the only thing I could think of is like the fight that was the other day, Logan Paul and Mike
and
Tyson.
Tyson? Oh,
Yeah, like you're okay, you won against Tyson. He's a 60-year-old man.
and
Like,
you were paid to do it.
and you're, yeah,
You were
like
paid to
you're,
win.
so it's just like this is not a fair comparison when you had Mayweather versus McGregor. Does that make sense? Yeah. That they fought, didn't they? Mayweather versus
They fought.
McGregor.
I feel like that was more of a payoff as well because I think
Yeah.
didn't Mayweather make like $200 million in that fight?
Stupid money. But it's also just like, okay, you are that's not Mayweather McGregor's sport. Like it's just
Yeah.
you're comparing a rookie, and I still say quotes because at what point do we not classify him as a rookie anymore? And he's so in what's supposed to be the
Well, he
slower
looked like a
car.
rookie in the Red Bull. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So it just goes to show that some people, Helmut Marko, uh, at Red Bull, just stop talking because you guys look like more
but
idiots every day.
they can't stop talking. And what's worse is that
No.
they talk for both teams. We don't even
Yes.
hear Laurent unless
Yeah.
he's doing the team principal interview,
Yeah.
or somebody catches him on a grid walk for whatever reason. We don't even hear from him.
No.
Christian and Marco talk for both teams,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And it just feeds into Zach. Like, stop. Stop. You're giving Zach all the fuel.
Yeah, and
Uh,
he's just gonna keep poking at you like
yeah.
an annoying little brother, and
Yeah.
he's good. Yeah, you're gonna get pissed off, and you're gonna lose sight of what your actual goal is.
Yeah. I'm thinking mid-season when everybody's getting a little testy and they have the principals in another meeting like what happened a few years ago. We're going to have this blow up with the principals again
Oh, it's
because
gonna be
there's
Japan.
yeah,
They're
this
gonna
weekend.
put Zach and Christian together in that first one, and they're
Yeah.
gonna ask somebody something, and not Christian. Zach's gonna make a comment, whether
Yeah.
it was directed at him or Christian. He's gonna make a comment,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna throw fuel on the fire. Fuel on the fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if McLaren continues the way that they're going, Christian's only going to get more and more frustrated.
Yeah,
So it's bound to.
I'll put money on it. It's this weekend.
It's
It's
this
it's
weekend. You
this
think
weekend.
it's this weekend?
It's
Okay.
this weekend. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going mid-season, but you're going
Oh
this
no,
weekend.
I think by mid-season, like there's going to be no chance,
Yeah.
and Red Bull knows that they're just in fight or flight mode, and it's not gonna do much. I
Yeah.
think it's this weekend to start it.
Yeah.
It'll continue.
Yeah.
It's just gonna keep going. But
Yeah. And then I mean, just kind of wrapping up because we can talk about this forever. The Yuki Liam Red Bull scenario. We had Guido van der Gaard, who was a ex Formula One driver,
yeah,
former Formula One driver. He put out a post that I did mention that Max liked to post, and he kind of talks about like the other side of this and kind of backing Liam a little bit. And I'm just going to read this really quickly. And so he posted a picture on Instagram of Liam looking very defeated. And his caption was, "I'm getting a bit tired of the comments that F1 is the toughest sport in terms of performance and when you're under deliver. You've got to face the consequences. Yes, you got to perform. Yes, the pressure is insane. But in my opinion, this comes closer to bullying or a panic move than actual high athlete achievements. They made a decision, fully aware, gave Liam 2 races only to crush his spirit. Don't forget the dedication, hard work, and success Liam has put into his career so far to achieve the level where he is now. I remember my own blood, sweat, and tears, and that was to reach F1, let alone driving for an absolute top team. Yes, he underperformed the first 2 races, but if anyone's aware of that, it's himself. Perhaps he has suggested this himself, but if not, I wish Liam all the strength and courage to get to the grid for Japan. Trust yourself and keep your head up. Max was the first
First, yeah.
driver to like that post, which kind of says a lot, I think, that it is impacting him as well.
Yeah.
And I know the post wasn't about Max, but what we were going back and saying that there is an impact on Max, and he agrees there's kind of been a bit of bullying, and almost from the team is the underlying, theme in this is it's from the team.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, at least the Alpines, from what we hear,
yeah.
are honest with Jack Doohan. We're giving you 5-6 races,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Liam thought he had it the whole season. There's no
Yeah.
way he suggested that he goes down.
No.
There's no way.
No.
But to make a panic move like this,
Yeah.
that's absolutely what it is.
Yeah.
They're panicking. They know they've only got 22 races left, and they know they probably made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's what I mean. To put the blame on him is not
Yeah.
fair.
No. No.
You made that mistake. You own it.
Yeah. You made the mistake. It is kind of what it just boils down to. And you're throwing him to the wolves, and getting rid of him after 2 races is like even worse. And then, like you said, maybe it would be, I mean, everybody dreams to be in Formula One, so maybe he's happy, but like kind of going back to the farm team where he came from, where you took him from, that's got to sting as well. And then be replacing with the person, like,
Yeah.
the whole thing
The
is
person
just,
you talked shit about
yeah, like
2
the
weeks
whole
ago.
thing's just got to sting. So, I mean, we'll see. There's Japan this weekend. We'll see what happens with Liam and Yuki and all of it. Red Bull as an organization. We'll see what happens.
We're
We'll
gonna
see
have
what Max
four.
happens.
We're probably gonna have 4 racing bulls on the grid.
Yep, because they're Red Bull possibly doing a white livery.
Going back to their white Japan livery that they had
Yeah.
in 2021, was
Yeah,
it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but moving on to something else, because again, we can talk about this forever. Total Wolf.
That's the other one that just
Total Wolf with some big comments.
for as brilliant of a man as he is. He doesn't remember anything that he said beforehand. He completely, like, yesterday didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's not like it's in print or on the internet and it lives forever.
Yeah. He's like a goldfish. He just says something and then forgets it.
Move
and then,
on.
Yeah.
Forgets his comments in Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Can I read it here for you?
Yeah.
I guess, or for everybody here who wasn't aware. So this was just beginning of this week, something like that. And I can't remember exactly which outlet he was talking to, but Sky Sports did put it out there, and he's talking about George Russell, saying he's absolutely among the top 3, if not top 2, maybe on his way to top 1. Now, we've sung his praises over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Put your head down, get a good result. He's been on the podium. Was he on the podium twice?
Yeah.
Twice, yeah. He was on the podium twice. Doing a great job. Nothing about that. My question to you.
Oh dear.
1, do you feel he is? I'm not going to ask if you feel he's a number 1 driver, because we know it's not. He's not on his way. I think he's got a long way to go. A lot of competition to surpass before he can become a number 1.
Yeah.
Do you think he is in that number 3 or 2? If you don't think he's a number 3, you're not going to think he's a number 2. Who would you put this? And would you put him in the top 5? And we're talking about way I'm looking at it.
Said on the grid right now.
Yes,
no,
I'm not saying all the time. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm thinking driver wise, who they are as drivers. For
Mhm.
me, raw talent.
Okay. No.
No, okay.
Just the overall no.
You want to think
Um,
about this? I mean, we don't
yeah.
want to end too early.
Yeah. I agree. He's on his way. He is proving to be a better driver. Do I think what has happened over the last couple of weeks for George? Yes, he's gotten on podiums. Yes, he's put his head down and just driven the car. But what's also been happening around him is George has been driving his own race in the middle, in the middle of the top five,
Yeah, yeah,
because we've had 1 and 2 off doing their thing, fighting, and then we've had 4 and 5 and 6 kind of driving and doing their own thing, and he's gained distance between 4, 5, 6, but he's not doing anything overly that we could be jumping ahead right now
no.
to be like, oh, he's like top 3 of the grid right now. Uh could he get there? Yeah, I absolutely think he could get there right now. No, I think there's too many people on this current grid. I think Lando has surpassed getting there. Lando's there.
So who's your top three on grid right now, drivers?
Uh Max, Lewis in the right car. I still think Lewis has, if he's in the right
Well,
car,
let's
I
just talk
think
about
he
forget
has
the car. Let's just talk about talent as
Max, Max, Lewis. I might go Oscar.
okay.
Lando. Oscar Lando kind of,
Okay, interesting.
and then a Fernando, and we kind of go back from there. But um I do think there are other drivers ahead of him. Carlos, again, taking away, he's in
The Williams.
a Williams now.
Yeah,
I,
I mean, to me, I put George. He maybe makes the 5 spot for
yeah,
me,
that's it.
if not 6.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it's raw talent. It's Max. Uh, I'd probably put Lando and Oscar in there. Probably 2 and 3 right now. Yeah, the car helps, but I just think their
yeah,
driving styles are right on point. I'm gonna put a Charles.
yeah,
I think to me, I think Carlos has the edge in driver talent. You put him in that Ferrari, he's outclassing Lewis and probably Charles, maybe,
yeah,
or at least they're going to be. It's like it's a Lando Oscar
yeah,
thing, and then in there you've got. I'd probably put. I 6 is a tie between Lewis and George right now.
yeah.
Just
Like,
talent on the grid.
yeah. I mean, you kind of going back, you're saying Charles and Carlos. When we saw, I mean, when they weren't even just fighting each other, but when we saw those two Ferraris side by side, phenomenal,
Yeah,
phenomenal racing. Same a little bit with, and that's why I gave Oscar a little bit more, is because I think he's fighting a lot more and proving a lot more than Lando has
yeah,
in his time, in a shorter period of time, obviously.
yeah.
Um, but I think Oscar has passed where I would have put George.
I think those are
That's it.
two people that can pull something out of a car that wasn't really expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I think George has done well for what he's done
Yeah,
for
of
these
course,
first few
of course.
races, and I think he's going to continue to do that. It's just to make that statement right now, this early in the season,
To put him at a 3, to put him at a maybe a 2, and to say he's close to a 1, that's
bold.
stretching it. That is stretching it like George Heights.
Yeah,
But
bold.
he's yeah, it's not, especially when Justin Drive to Survive. If you wanted to sign a driver, you're gonna sign Max. Like, yeah, you made that statement,
Yeah,
knowing full well that Max was likely not going to make
yeah,
that jump. He might now. He
yeah,
might now.
yeah,
And I think if he's going to go anywhere, obviously it's going to be a Mercedes, because it's not going to be Ferrari, or it's not going to be um, McLaren. So,
he might go
I
to the
mean,
$1 billion deal over at Aston Martin.
it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, I don't see it per se, but
I could.
you,
If you get decent development and then you get Nui showing what 2026 can bring and new regulations, if there are new regulations,
yeah,
depending on what happens with these with this engine um, V10 speculation
yeah,
crap. Uh, I could see it. I
yeah,
really could. I mean, he likes Nui. He puts him in a winning car. We're gonna see that Nui curse again this year because there's no way Max is gonna win. So you never know.
yeah. I mean, Max hasn't won yet.
But he had like nobody's ever gone on to win a
Oh,
championship
right, the championship.
after Nui has left,
That's right.
or they have left Nui,
Yeah,
whatever it
that's
is.
right. That's right.
And so he's not winning this year. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean he won't win again, but it
fair.
might only be if he goes over to Aston Martin.
Right. Yeah, which is not going to help my predictions, but uh, and then we have so that was kind of Mercedes, really. And then we have kind of still with Mercedes, Bottas, Valtteri
Yeah,
Bottas, who is the reserve driver for Mercedes, was seen and it was announced this week that he was doing testing in the McLaren.
and was going to be their reserve driver.
Yes. Now, what happens if Oscar and George are both sick on the same weekend? Which team?
Well, they'll just bring somebody up from F2,
Yeah. Well, on which
and
team?
well,
Who
he's
gets
only
first
going.
dibs?
Well, he's still signed to Mercedes, so I'm
Yeah.
guarantee it's going to be in the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Toto's not letting that one go.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one for me. I mean, you're gonna
Yeah.
bring up an F2 driver to drive in a car. You're gonna give him to your competitor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not gonna
Honestly.
take the guy with the experience, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's that. Happy to see it. I was happy to see him back in a car. Weird
Yeah.
in an orange car, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he was brought in, I guess, kind of just to explain, uh, because McLaren uses a Mercedes
Mercedes, right?
engine, so they can,
They're a Mercedes customer. Yeah,
yeah, so they can,
they have influence over there.
right. And
Who's
that's
going to
that's
be? Yeah,
Toto having
yeah, yeah.
influence in all of that. The only other, you mean you might have something else, but I also, because we haven't talked about it, it's been announced for a little bit, and we keep forgetting to talk about it. The swearing ban. There was an update right
Yes,
before the season started.
we
We
didn't
talked
talk about.
no, and we
Hmm.
talked about it a lot last year, so I just wanted to give the update on that. So the swearing ban was that the drivers were not going to be allowed to swear anywhere at all, whatever. What has been updated, upgraded, is that they will be allowed to swear in
Yeah,
the car if it
if it
happens.
happens on the radio, yeah.
Yeah, if it happens on the radio, it's fine. It's more so if they're in the pen, if they're in post-race
Interviews,
interviews,
yeah,
pre-race interviews, that's where we're really going to get into some trouble.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that was announced just before the season started.
Yeah.
And just before the season started is where we had our first FIA fine for that in the
Yeah.
RC series, I think.
Yeah.
The rally series.
Yeah.
And that person was fined 10,000 euros.
Yeah.
Did you see what the drivers there have done now?
Yes.
So I I wonder if that's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna change anything coming out of that series,
Mm-hmm.
but if they have a unification across all series,
Yeah.
then it would. So they have now refused the players or the drivers association there and all their agents and the teams have said that they will not be conducting any interviews now. And if they do, they were going to do it in their mother tongue because they can't be guaranteed that they wouldn't make a mistake when they're speaking in English to slip up and do that, which is just basically just saying "f you." We're not going to do
Yeah.
anything because they know when they're going to swear.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically taking away a lot of the FIA's money and TV rates because
Yeah.
nobody's going to tune in if you're not doing any interviews.
Right.
Again, it's a WRC series. I think if you have F1 take the same stance, which I don't know that they would.
No.
But it is the Players Association. Doesn't necessarily have to do the teams, although the teams do expect that level of cooperation.
Yeah.
But I think if you have it across all racing series that the FIA has a hand in, that you will see some we'll see Ben's hand be forced, or
Yeah.
he's just going to double down. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and I know we didn't talk about it, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but FIA or Liberty Media, a lot of the radios that they've been showing have had a lot of swearing in it. And I don't know
Yeah,
if that's on purpose or
pretty
what,
sure it
but
is. They're not. They know what they're
yeah,
doing.
they're like, yeah, let's try this again. So I just thought it was something we should, and if you've kind of been saying, oh, why haven't we talked about the swearing ban when there's been all these people swearing? That's why. It's because
Yeah.
there are no penalties or fines right now for in the
Which there
car
shouldn't
on the
be.
radio. No,
They bleep
there
it
shouldn't.
out. It's not
Yeah,
swearing. Or they bleep it out and then they put stars over it, so you don't even know what word it is because it
yeah,
didn't start with anything. They didn't end
yeah,
with anything.
yeah,
You have no idea. We can guess. We know,
yeah.
but
You know what they're saying, but yeah, I think it was the good call to make from whoever really made that decision. I'm assuming it was FIA,
it's it's
but
FIA, and I'm assuming that Ben would have had to sign off on it because he would have probably been one of the last holdouts.
yeah,
But a move I didn't think he was going to do. But
no, no. So, and what else do we have? What else do we have
not
going on this
much. They're
week?
all small things. So
Yeah,
all I had was that Andretti confirmed that Perez is an option to return to the grid in
mm,
2026
yeah,
Cadillac, uh, in the Cadillac car. We don't know. I mean, he's an option. Of course, he's going to be
yeah,
an option.
yeah,
Um, I'm sure there's lots of options. He'd probably be a pretty safe option because other instead of I see, I feel like they're going to still have an American. I think you're going to see somebody like Cole Herta come from Indy
yeah,
over. I think they want an American driver at least to start off,
yeah,
as a representative for the first American, not the first, but the un American team in
yeah,
F1.
yeah,
And other than that, we just had Fernando Alonso doesn't like the fact that the V10s are a possibility,
yeah,
which I would have thought he would have. I would have thought he would have. If it's going to bring a smaller car, better racing, forget the sound.
yeah,
But I mean, it seemed like a very political post,
yeah,
talking about how we've done all these strides. We use half the amount of fuel. I mean, you also have these massive battery packs, which are terrible on the environment because when you dispose of them. But
yeah.
uh,
Just break down.
yeah, but I was surprised of all drivers that it sounded more like it would have been a Lewis post than it would have a Fernando post. But
Lewis probably wrote it for him. It was like, hey, you post
yeah,
this.
yeah, post this. Yeah,
You do that. But yeah, I mean, considering it, that's more his era
yeah,
of success
it's where he
is
won
the
championships.
V10s. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'd think he'd be like right on top of that. And maybe we don't know. Behind the scenes, Fernando is like this like super economical, save the world person. And all the power to him. But it's just
Yeah,
like you
I
said, it's
guess.
just shocking that it was him
Yeah,
to make the
or
statement.
like Vettel or something. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, and they
um,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's all I
all.
had. I didn't want to bring you down with the Charles post, but that I saw. But well, he'll get him next time.
He'll get him next time. I mean, we could
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah,
We can
we
talk.
could, we
Yeah,
could. It was just Charles was on pace to, well, he is on pace. Obviously, he's going to beat overtake Vettel for the most points scored in a Ferrari all time, beating Vettel with 1,409 points after this Chinese GP. Where Fez Seb, it was this that in 70s show.
yeah,
Seb had 1,400 points, and then immediately he was disqualified and went
yeah,
back to 1399, 1 point behind Sebastian Vettel.
yeah. Seb's probably
So
like, gotta try again.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, do it again. I mean, obviously, we know we've got 22 races. He's going to do it this
He's
season.
most likely,
He's going
he's
to do it
most like
this season.
he better.
Yeah. I think just one other thing as well before kind of going back to the Yuki, the Yuki scenario. One important thing that I think there was rumors about this, and I don't even say it's rumors, just talk about it, why this happened when it did. We're going into Japan. Japan is Yuki's home race. Japan, Honda. Honda, big sponsor for Red Bull. And originally, when it was approached of that last year when they were switching seats or picking the new person for the seat, Honda offered $10 million in
Yep.
sponsorship. Red Bull said, no, we don't need your money. Hold it. We're not going to bring. Sorry. Honda offered $10 million if they brought Yuki up to Red Bull. Red Bull said, no, thank you. Honda said, okay, cool. Now in this scenario, that $10 million has miraculously come back around. And it would
Did
be
they
right
really?
before it. Yeah. Right
I didn't know
before
they
the
offered it again. I just thought that
I
Honda was just sitting back and like, yeah, fuck you.
yeah,
Could have had
it's
10 million
been
bucks.
it's been brought back, and then I think that was part of the reason it was the two race get this done before Japan. And again, this is just chatter. I don't know if it's rumors. That the money's basically back on the table. And right now it looks like they need it.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
and the
paid off
sponsorship.
Perez, so to get
Yeah.
that to recoup 10 million out of whatever they had to pay him about
Yeah.
helps. So
Yeah. So
maybe
I
that's
mean,
why he is guaranteed his seat for the rest of the season.
yeah. And I mean, it's his home race. I mean, it would be nice for him if he had a great showing this weekend. So
I hope he does.
yeah. Can you imagine that he gets like a podium this weekend?
Let's not expect a podium out of Yuki.
Fourth,
Okay.
fifth?
You know what? Just bring it home in 7th and call it a
Just
win.
the
You know what I
car.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Let's get out of Q1.
yeah.
Let's just start
Even,
there.
even if you're out in Q2 and you can bring it back and finish the race off in
Yeah.
a decent points position, that's a success.
Yeah.
That's a success on Red Bull's part. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. So
yep.
yeah, you don't have anything else. So next week we will be back with the Japanese Grand Prix. We've got food next week.
Yeah.
Which we got to start thinking about. And yeah, we'll have a race review next. We'll have a race review next week, and we're back.
Yeah, absolutely. Grab a fresh set.
Bye.